No highs, no lows, just chopping wood, baby. And the Thunder, 44-31, now a full game ahead of the San Antonio Spurs. Half game behind the Jazz, who we're going to ball with the Lakers. It's underway right now. They have a 6-point lead halfway through the first quarter. And the Thunder now one game behind the L.A. Clippers. For what it's worth, and you know, Czar and Dante, where do the Thunder want to be? I mean, do you think they pick and choose spots right here and say, all right, looking up at the top four, we're in the bottom four? Do you think they're planning and strategizing a little bit for maybe a first-round matchup, or are they just trying?
Let's see who we want. I think now, because of the tailspin they have been in, not playing nearly as well as they have been, I think the biggest thing they have to accomplish is to get back on track, get that energy back together again, feel. They had this bravado about them earlier in the year. You know, everybody was happy, everybody's playing well. They were winning about them earlier in the year. You know, everybody was happy, everybody's playing well. They were winning a lot of games. Going into the playoffs, stay out of their way.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. They need to be playing their best basketball right now, get back to their identity of playing defense, being a fast-paced team, having fun, having life in the game. They need to get that. They can't look forward to seeding, and they don't have that luxury. They want to be as high seeded as possible because they need that energy, they need that confidence going into the playoffs.
Dante, talk to me about Paul George here tonight. Again, just you look at the box score, pretty much check the box in every column. What did you like about what he gave tonight?
I think he concentrated on the defensive end, and he spoke in the post-game interview about how he wanted to dictate it by how physical he was to set the tone for his team. As a two-way player, he's responsible for two sides of the floor. Yes, he gets credit for the offensive end, but he has to set the tone on the defensive side, and then once he gets going offensively, they look to him to score a lot of their offense because he is their leading scorer, and once he's going, they're going in the right direction.
So you got George with 31, you got Grant with 19, Adams with 25, Russ with 17, but what about the other guys, Czar?
You know, I wonder about their bench, and part of this tailspin, I'm wondering how much productivity they've been getting night in and night out. It's like I've been saying to myself, I haven't heard Schroeder's name mentioned. Early in the year, Schroeder was that great 1-2 punch with Westbrook at the point guard spot, playing both together for certain minutes. Schroeder, Morris, Noel, who can step up and add to this team, to what they have as far as the starters go? We like Adams, we like Paul George, we like Westbrook. How about the second unit? You've got to reestablish yourself to where they can count on you night in and night out to give them productivity.
So Schroeder, 0 of 7 in this game. They got 10 bench points for the entire game and scored 107. Now, let's talk about the Pacers as we look at the standings 1 through 5 in the Eastern Conference. And the Pacers and the Celtics and the 76ers, they have been jostling behind, of course, the Bucks and the Raptors for most of the season. And right now, Indiana with this loss, they dropped 1.5 games back of Philadelphia in that race for third place. And they're one game ahead of the Boston Celtics. And it has looked like for a while Indiana and Boston were going to be that 4-5 first-round matchup. It's not in stone, but it feels like that's where we're headed. And right now, Indiana with a one-game lead. And, home court advantage there's critical. Whoever has the Game 7, if it goes that far, obviously would have a big, big advantage. But for the Pacers, Bojan Bogdanovic has been a savior of sorts for them. Victor Oladipo goes down. It's kind of a by-committee approach and how they get their scoring from a lot of places, but Bojan has really taken his game to another level.
He's one of the guys that listened to the coach's message when Oladipo went down, and he said, where are we going to find these points that Victor gave us night in and night out? We need each one of you to kind of look in the mirror and say, can I help more? Well, this young man was averaging a little over 11 shots per game. Now he's taking over 15 field goal attempts per game. So coach said, we need more scoring. Who's going to give it to us? He said, I don't mind taking a shot. Just give me a chance.
But it's only 4 more shot attempts per game?
Well, remember now, if you're getting fouled, go to the free throw line, it doesn't count as a field goal attempt. So it could, in reality, could be 6, could be 7. But right now, on paper, it's 11 to 15.
I like it. Dante, you had to check this guy when you were playing. Tough cover or what?
He's a tough cover when he's being aggressive. Sometimes he can have lulls where he's just trying to fit in and just not take tough shots because he wants to be that great teammate and move the ball. But he's in a position right now where they don't have their leading scorer and they're going into the playoffs and they need to be able to look to somebody in a go-to capacity. And he's the next man up in that light because he's the most talented offensive scorer that they have. So he has to be aggressive. aggressive. He has to take shots. He has to look for his own shot at times.
And to address that, Dante, he had I don't think he had a free throw attempt in tonight's game. So that's telling us that he's settling for jump shots most of the time. So he's not, are you aggressive, driving it, getting that contact, or when he feels that he's got that jumper going from the three-point line or mid-range game, then he sometimes forgets about going to the rim. You can add more points, obviously. All great scorers know that you have to get to the foul line if you're going to be a terrific scorer.
So y'all have been around the block and then some. You know the adage, it takes superstars to win in the playoffs. The Indiana Pacers do not have a superstar right now with Victor Oladipo out. Can this by-committee approach work to even maybe win a playoff series?
Depends who the matchup is, and they have to function on all cylinders. They have to be great at the defensive end, which they've been so good. Just to be in the spot that they're in right now, with around 10 games remaining for most teams before the playoffs, is a fantastic job by Nate McMillan and the players of understanding what they lost and not giving in to the natural, we're just not good enough anymore. Who do you match up with in the first round? Can you steal a game from the other team and switch? If you don't have home court, now all of a sudden you got it.
They've been doing a great job with their all-star being down. Nate has had them prepared, had them motivated. They are a defensive nightmare. They play hard every game, and they do this by committee. They will be dangerous in the playoffs, especially if they get home court advantage, and especially if they play the Boston Celtics, a team who's not playing at their potential, don't really have an identity, trying to find answers at this point in time. They're not the team that you want to play going into the playoffs if you do not know how you're going to win a game on a nightly basis and who you're going to get effort from on a nightly basis.
Nate McMillan, Mike Malone, Mike Budenholzer, Doc Rivers, just some of the guys very much in the running for Coach of the Year. But Nate McMillan, with the Pacers not going like that since Vio went down, he is right there, might win that award this year. 2 late night